Hi, everyone. I am so excited that you are joining me for Purposely Design. I have a wonderful friend and guest with me today. Her name is Kelly Foster, and she is going to be sharing her story and sharing about her purpose. We live for the purpose of God. God's purpose flows through us. I know we always say my purpose, but it's actually God's purpose that works through us. So I want you to just listen in, take down some notes. Kelly is going to share with you how you can get in contact with her later. So have your pens and pencils ready. And we're going to get right into this interview. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited about today.
I am as well. And thank you so much. I'm so excited to engage with you and all the viewers.
So let me tell you a little bit about Kelly. Kelly is the founder of an online ministry, women's ministry, Imperfectly His. And she's the author of Dear Proverbs 31 Woman, Stop Making Me Look Bad. The title in itself makes me say, you want to grab that book. Kelly has helped hundreds of women embrace their imperfect stories, become healthy, whole, and healed while pursuing their passions and their purpose. She is a minister of the gospel for over 10 years. She served as a church planter, coach, and mentor to many. When she's not juggling dinner or writing deadlines, you can find her binge watching documentaries with her beautiful 3 daughters in St. Louis, Missouri. Again, Kelly's so happy for you to be here. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the audience today about yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheila, for that introduction. I am actually have an exciting new project that was just released. I'm a partner on the YouVersion Bible app, and yeah, I'm excited about that. So if there's anything I would share that. Go grab that plan. It's again similar to some of the things that Sheila mentioned about finding rest and embracing your imperfect story. So yeah.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
A lot of uncertainty and a lot of uncomfortableness, if I'm very, very honest. About 6 years ago, actually, I just celebrated the birth of my brand business blog, Imperfectly His, 6 years ago, Monday. And during that time, I was so uncomfortable. I felt God nudging my heart. And wanting me to, he told me very little at the time. And he seems to kind of speak to me that way. He'll give me just a little bit, because if he gives me too much, again, that fear will kick in and I will not obey and move in that direction. So I was just getting the nudge to share your story and share some of the things that you've been through, share a little bit about the journey of your healing and the journey of, finding peace and contentment, even in the midst of challenging situations. And it terrified me. It utterly shook me. God was asking me to be vulnerable. He was asking me to tell stories I hadn't told my family. and I just wasn't comfortable. So if I can say anything before we get to the lights and the fuzzies, because they are there,
Mhm.
oftentimes getting to the place of finding your distinct purpose begins with those uncomfortable feelings. So if you are there right now, I just want to encourage you. You're probably in the right place. But I will say this. After the fear and sort of the nudge, and you go, okay, God, I must submit. Just sharing my first encounter, really sharing something personal and vulnerable
Mhm.
through my blog Imperfectly His, and just the feeling afterward of, you know what, I did that and it was great, and I'm glad I got that out. That's sort of that little spark that began the fire to going, okay, I think this is it. I think this is my lane. I think this is what I'm supposed to
Yes,
be doing.
yes,
And
yes.
God honored that and just began to send people to encourage me. And that
Yes,
really
he
was the
does.
beginning of it all.
I can relate so much because of the fact that I remember many times certain blogs that I wrote, and I shared a little bit more of myself than I usually did. I mean, some of that secret stuff of even when you're dealing with your own heart wounds and you
Yes.
need to put them on the table to look at them, and so that they don't have power over you. And I always would think after I write it and press send, it's like, oh my gosh, and then God always has someone text me or email me or thank you, Sheila, that helped me so much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, especially as women, and I'm going to just say as Black women,
Yeah.
we sometimes have to put on this, whatever, to people put it on us, really, that,
Yeah.
you have it all together, you should have it all together, and you just keep marching forward. And then the other half says, well, but Black women can't do
Can't do
anything.
anything.
So you're like, phew, phew, I just want to stay in the lane that God says, so it is scary until you begin to embrace it.
Yeah.
And I just, that for you to come up with Imperfectly His tells me
Yeah.
you have embraced that. Can you just share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
How you came up with
Actually, I always say I never come up with anything. I
that?
never come up with anything. I never have the good ideas. It's always God.
Mhm.
I had started writing, and I've always used writing, even as a little girl, as just a tool to express myself.
Mhm.
And I've gotten better at talking as I've gotten older, but as a young person, words were really my friend. And so I wrote a lot of poetry and I wrote a lot of just things to just express myself. And one day I was journaling and writing, and I got real poetic with my words, and I was saying imperfectly this and perfectly that, and then I just wrote Imperfectly His, and I just stayed, my heart just stayed there. I couldn't go on, and I just felt God speaking like dun 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 like this, and I was like, this is
Yes,
so
this
heavy,
is
this
it.
is so deep, this is me, I am imperfect in every single way. I don't care how cute I look today. I am
and you
imperfect.
and you do look cute, by the way.
I am imperfect in every single way. But what's more important than that is I am His. I belong to God. And
Yes.
that is my identity. And that is where I find peace. And that is where I find courage. And so those words, that was it. That was all I needed to see. That was my vision in those two words. God, he literally laid the vision in my heart in just those two words. I want to be an instrument of encouragement. I want to model what it looks like to live an imperfect life, but to be totally and utterly surrendered to the love of Jesus, and to be
Yes.
utterly just consumed with my identity in Him. So much so that what you just said, the superwoman syndrome will not tear me down.
Yes.
Whatever the standards are of being the most amazing mom I can or a great worker doesn't begin to consume my identity, that I know no matter what I do, good and bad, even as I seek to please God every day, I'm still His. No
Mhm.
one can take that away from me.
No one can teach. I love, what gives two things that have always, even when I was hardly knew the Lord, I was just beginning. Two things that stuck with me that he says, I'll never leave you or forsake you. And
Yes.
then the other one, when he says in John, when he's talking, I believe it's John 17, when he's talking about, and who can snatch them out of my hand? It's, he's throwing out the, big, hey, good, try and take them
Exactly.
from
And
me.
it is a challenge.
It's a
I would like to
challenge.
see you
He
try.
says, yeah. And when I meditated upon that and let it move from here to here,
Yeah,
see, that's when it moves from the head to the heart. You got it. And
absolutely.
and that is what I get you
Yeah.
with you there. So wow. So continue on that vein. You begin so you're moving
Yeah.
your purpose and what lights you up. Well, knowing your why is knowing your purpose. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what's your story? You kind of shared a little,
Yeah.
if you want to just narrow it in on how you started pulling back layers and finding and that discovery of I am here and I exist because of this, and this is my why God created me.
Yeah. So I will say purpose, it's a journey. It's a journey. It's
Mhm,
finding your purpose, figuring out your lane. It really is a journey and it changes over time.
mhm,
I recognize that God will allow you to be in seasons, and for that season, your purpose might look a little bit different than when it does. So when I began writing, that just was the open door of obedience that I needed to begin to
mhm,
really hear God speaking into me.
mhm,
And so as I took that step of obedience, the more God began to speak into me. So for
mhm,
me, it wasn't that I needed to sort of have this eye-opening experience that I'm imperfectly his and do that by myself and just do
mhm,
that with my own community. God began to say, no, I want you to do this on a larger scale. Not to say you're going to be on the biggest stages ever, but my goal is for you to share this story with whomever will listen.
mhm,
And so it started very small. And again, it just began to be, let me share my story and my experiences. And again, as we are obedient, God gives us more of the task and the challenge. And so in those early stages, I was a young mom. I had three small babies and trying to manage all of the things. So I couldn't thrust myself into this new world of, all right, I'm going to be this great blogger and I'm going to speak and I'm going to write and I'm going to do books. I couldn't do it. Now,
mhm,
this was the vision that God was placing inside of me, but I could not do it in that season, in that capacity. And so
mhm,
even in that, God was showing me and teaching me patience
mhm,
and endurance, and that the race really isn't. It's a marathon. It's not a race to see who gets to the finish line. And so, as we're ebbing and flowing through our seasons, our
mhm.
purpose ebbs and flows right with
With
us.
it. And
Um, yeah,
I love that. One of the things how I kind of share with people, that direct, specific, distinct purpose that we have, that's going to stay. But what is different, our assignments change.
absolutely.
It's the assignments, but whatever assignment, you're still sharing the story that God has shared. Now it can take different shades, but you're sharing that. And that is so wonderful. As I just continue to talk about purpose, I begin to say, it's not a concept,
Mhm,
it is a practice.
mhm.
And it's an intentional practice to
Absolutely.
do and be obedient and to stay the course, and how you work that practice out, being very intentional to the one vein that God has given you. But that vein is, God doesn't do anything little small. He does
It really
everything
does.
big. He is intentional. He's huge. He's detailed. He's
Yeah,
just
he's everything.
look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even say the word right, but you know what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. He's just huge. But so I love how you say that staying true to who you are, staying, getting the vision, it was for a time, it's like how David got the vision
Yeah.
of the temple. And he started putting his money away until God says, you know what? You have the vision for it and you're going to prepare for it, but it is you for another time.
Absolutely.
It's going to go to your son.
Absolutely.
But you curate the vision.
Yeah.
So now Solomon took that, what David wrote,
Yeah.
and he did exactly so it was really still his vision, but
Absolutely.
Solomon was bringing it forth,
Yeah.
laying it out. And so I love how you say when you got that vision, I'm not just ready, but God was letting it percolate and
Yes.
letting it grow inside of you. And
Absolutely.
oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't that, because we want it right now, don't we?
Oh yeah, especially after God, and God is so good. He'll show us a piece of the vision, and it blows us away, and it's just a
Oh,
piece.
girl.
But we are not there yet often.
Right.
But he shows us because he's just that good, because it is an encouragement, and we know there's more to come.
Yeah. And then some people are like me. He says, I can only tell her a little bit because this one here,
Yep.
she runs off. She's gone. Oh, I see it. So I had to learn, and he has set me down in silent seasons. I've just been transparent many, many times. So
yes.
it's, like,
yes,
how you say
absolutely.
to your kid, come here.
Absolutely.
Sit down.
Absolutely. And you know what, Sheila, the other thing I will say about purpose, especially I'm just thinking about that uncertain place of what is my purpose, and those of us that are really, really in that season of wonder, God is tying your purpose to every single thing that you are going through and have gone through. It is your life.
Yes.
It is your life. Your purpose, it really is your life. And so part of my ministry is, and this is why purpose is so connected, is I want to help other women really embrace the life that they have. Because guess what? If your purpose is deeply tied to your life and you're over your life, like, I want a new one, cash this out, give me a new one, honey, this is bad, then guess what? You'll always miss it. You'll always miss it. You won't see the value in what God is doing for you, the pain that you've been through, your story that you have. That is so deeply rooted in God's purpose for your life and your family. So we got to get to the table, look at our life and the mess that it is, and say, okay, it is what it is. Now, what can I do with this life?
Yeah.
And he can make all things new.
He can make all things new. And I love how you say that, because I always say, just like you have your own set of fingerprint.
Yes.
God created you. He did. I can't be Kelly. He got a Kelly.
Absolutely.
He's like, I already got one of those.
Exactly.
Why are you trying to be that?
Exactly.
You be you.
Yes.
And with this social media, that is where it's really hard sometimes to really look and stay in your lane and stay focused. But the more, I want to say this to the audience, the more you unpackage all that God has given you and see all of the gifting and the talents that he has bestowed on you, you will be so in tuned with your own vision, with your own purpose, that you can cheer your brother and your sister on. And you say, I'm so happy that they found their lane. And this is my lane. That is awesome.
Yes.
But it's not to become. And like I said, this lady who has been sat down, I've tried it all. I've had friends who were evangelists and could preach the house down. I'm normally a teacher. I don't preach like that. And I've tried and I fell on my face. You know how have you seen those evangelists who can they don't have a note in front of them.
Nope. It's all up here. Yeah.
And they just go. And it's like, oh no. Stay in your lane, Miss Teacher
Yes,
Lady.
yes,
You know? But yeah. So what
yes.
is a strategy or resource as the audience is listening
Mhm.
that can help someone else really find their why or their purpose? What would you say if you were sharing with, I mean, you are sharing with the audience, so what would you tell them?
You know, for me, really getting to a place where I feel like I'm walking in my purpose. You know what? This is it. This is me. I had to do a lot of healing. And that's
Mm,
why a lot of the work that I do is centered around healing. Again, like I just said, do what you know, do what you know, do who you are. And so I always strongly encourage deep inner healing, which usually includes therapy of several kinds of some kind. I'm a huge proponent and advocate of therapy, small groups, whether it's group-based therapy and small groups for support groups. I love a 12-step group. I'm not in active recovery, but I will attend 12-step groups like Celebrate Recovery because the content is just that good. I actually believe everybody should attend a 12-step program just to
mm,
process through some of those things. It's about forgiveness. It's about
yes.
owning things and accepting who you are and walking in forgiveness and love. And it's just good quality things that as
Mm,
individuals, we've all got to work through some stuff, and so
yes,
if
yes.
I were to throw out any resources, I would absolutely say counseling and therapy. And you're not going to find, you may not find a perfect fit the first time. Keep trying. Definitely would advocate for support groups, depending on what you're going through and dealing with. We can't begin to help others
Yes.
until we're ready to really look ourselves in the face. That's the hardest part about this purpose journey, is because that's why it's a journey, because we never get there because we're always working. So, you'll find when you're on that path, you're like, okay, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And like you said, Sheila, God will stop you because now I need to deal with you in this. You can't share with
Mhm.
others how to move past this until you move past it. And so
Exactly.
having those extra supports, I do have a book that I've gone through. It's called The Genesis Process. This
Oh,
is a great book. It's a biblical based book as well, but essentially it goes the book was written and designed to help church people,
okay.
Christian people of God, really process their hurts and pains so we don't hurt other
Oh, I
people
have to
as
get
we're
that
in
book.
community. And so it's a workbook, and it literally is going through and it's like having you process through your pains and ask yourself questions that you wouldn't just ask yourself on a random Thursday.
Mhm.
These are the kinds of things that really helped me. It's called The
Okay.
Genesis Process. And that's just one that I keep on my shelf. I use it a lot in for the content that I use, or when I speak, since I speak about being healthy, whole, and healed. And again, it's really about, what do you need for yourself to get to a place where you can pour out because your cup is overflowing. That's
Yeah,
what purpose really is. It's when
I love that.
your cup, God has poured into you so much so that you have just a little bit more to pass on of what he's giving you. So yeah.
That is, oh, that is wonderful. Well, I have to tell you, my friends, that Kelly has just shared a wealth of information. She shared her heart with us, and I am so just full of gratitude that you were able to come onto the program. But before I let you go, I want to ask you to, would you share with the audience how they can learn more about you, contact you? Maybe they want to make sure that they can get your books, get your eye vision plan. Did I say that
You
right?
version.
Version.
That's okay.
Okay, you tell them. I won't.
Sure. Thank you, Sheila. I'm so excited I was able to come today on your channel. I can be reached on the web at kellyafoster.com. All of who I am, all the different pieces of me can be found there. I do have a shop there where you can find the book, Dear Proverbs 31 Woman. Stop making me look bad. And it sounds just like, it is just what it sounds. And then also, again, on YouVersion, the Bible app, you can also find my plan, Learning to Rest While Embracing Your Imperfect Story.
Well, I want to thank you again, audience, for tuning in to Purposely Designed. And I want to let you know that all this month, we have beautiful, purpose-driven women on purpose, that you can hear their stories and glean some wonderful nuggets from them. Join me again next Wednesday when I will have another guest. So that's it for now. Walk in your God-given purpose. Thank you.